Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer, and it is Friday, so we are returning to our Fridays for Future Let's Play of Fate of the World, the climate change game. So, we do see that there are a lot of issues. The most important issue in the year 2017, though, is this one. Resource demands greatly exceed global supply of oil. So we have 12% less oil in the world than we need to, and that is a very, very big issue, because, well, that means that our economy is very, very close to collapsing, and that is certainly not very good news. I'm not sure whether the entire economy, if we have a look over here on the GDP, is collapsing. No, it actually seems to go up and up and up, but the problem is, I think it's hurting industrial demand quite strongly, and we are risking a crash of the economy. There are a lot of unemployed people in most regions because this issue here is very, very bad. We're also still struggling with Arctic methane supply, so that is a big issue as well. Temperature is about 2 degrees over pre-industrial times, so pretty bad actually. But at 3 degrees Celsius we'd be losing the game, so that is what we'd want to avoid. Emissions are still high. They are coming down slowly, but of course this is still a net input into the atmosphere, so this is still effectively driving up the temperature, and the only thing that is helping us right now is this, that we are applying some extra radiative forcing, so we are applying geoengineering here, and that's not necessarily the greatest and most sustainable way. You can help a little bit, but it's not a long-term measure basically. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, right. So let's go to the various regions, because that oil supply, that oil issue, we do need to do two things here. We are in the Middle East, we are expanding oil production, so that's fine. I think we need to do the same in North America, and indeed we are doing that. But let's have a look at who is using the energy, and who is, of course, springing to mind. There is China. So over here on the data overview, on the oil field, or on the oil overview, we can see that China is using 11,000 units of oil. India is using about 12,000. All of the other ones are much smaller. So you can see typically it's in the 1,000 or 2,000 range. Only for China and India it's really big. So China is using a lot of oil, and it's using a lot of oil in producing energy. So the energy mix here is 14% oil, a little bit uranium and all of that. So we can see China needs less and less power, but a very significant chunk of that is being produced from oil, and that is an issue. So what we're gonna have to do here in China is, without doubt, we do need to decline the use of oil power. That, I think, is one of the most important things that we can do over here. There's also a further one, and that is, I think we'll have to switch out of forced generation conversion incentives for a second here and do transport efficiency investments. So just making sure that we have a very good setup over here, where we are still committing to nuclear, we are using less oil power, we are improving the roads. So I think all of these are very valuable. Let's see whether there is anything else here. You can see that just how much resources are undersupplied over here. Nevertheless, China is using some very nice things. Ooh, and they are switching to their objectives because they are now considered developed, so that is very nice. Ooh, wildfires, of course that is not great. Nationalism is not great. Objections to Tobin tax are of course not great. Ooh, and there is storms are becoming more likely. We could adapt to them, but I don't think that's required right now, so that should be alright. What we really should be thinking though is whether we want to advance our research into any of this. In particular, biofuels would be helpful, but we'll be getting that in 3 turns anyway, just 12 years. But I would very much love to get advanced turbines, because that will simply make everything else much more useful basically. So ideally, let's think about switching out of the turbine tax here for a second, and acquire geoengineering. That should be opening up this path. So I think that's fine, and that's what we can do over here. Let's have a look at India first, at the news, whether there's anything that we do need to react to. Not that much, to be honest. Every breath is killing you. So yeah, so things here are still very bad. A lot of water stress. These rains, that's nice. Cancer, that's not so nice. And storms are hitting India, so ideally... Ooh, they don't even have basic storm defenses. Okay, so ideally we should play this. We might also just get out of the one-child policy here and the coal-free industry for a second. And use also the card to reduce oil power. Because again, I think India is producing a lot of a very, very high amount of its resources from oil, so that's pretty bad. And I do hope that uranium use increases here a little bit, so that's nice to see. Cap and trade, good. Commit to nuclear, good. Fourth generation nuclear conversions, not that critical at this very moment, so we're going to switch out of that for a second. Coal-free industry is of course a very nice thing. Transport efficiency. You are already communal, so you know what, that's fine. We don't need to do anything else there. We could acquire some new technology, and again I mostly think about the advanced turbines. I think it would be good to just rush that a little bit, so we are gonna acquire aerosol geoengineering, and that will allow us to acquire the other one next. Could also think about acquiring photovoltaic cells. That might not be the worst. Try to get a little bit sustainable right away. How's your population looking? 1.4 billion. But it's decreasing. Slowly but surely it's decreasing. So yeah, I think that's nice to see. Coal-free industry. Commit to renewables. I don't think there's not much point doing this. I think there was a water shortage here, wasn't there? Could subsidize biochar, but that would just run all the time. Okay, let's try to acquire photovoltaic cells, and that might be alright. Good. Who else is the biggest polluter in town? So we've got Southern Africa has taken the lead here, so that's actually the first time that Southern Africa is the most polluting region. You have acquired fourth generation nuclear power. That's good to see. Other than that though, there's not much that's going to go on over here. So we've got the cap and trade emission scheme, we've got the one-child policy, we've got the vegetarian revolution. All of that is, very good. We are about above 12,000 GDP, so that means we should be able to run the industrial carbon regs and the business and household carbon regs. And these two combined will do a lot to save up energy usage here in Southern Africa. So that's actually very, very good to see. Just have a look at the population over here. You have a lot of elderly population. We might want to increase the pension age over here. Don't think we need the one-child policy anymore. But we should definitely acquire a couple of technologies. So I'm thinking about both concentrated photovoltaic cells and advanced turbines. Would be great. This is very, very expensive. But I'm hoping that, I think the main problem here with the emissions is from energy usage, yes. And energy usage is mostly due to the fact that you are burning coal. And yeah, we see coal is the biggest culprit over here. There's a little bit of oil, a little bit of gas, but really coal is the big issue. And I think I would like to not use uranium over here, but instead use directly more advanced technology, so that would be great to get. So yeah, let's hope that will work out for us. Right, I think we should go to Russia, just making sure that everything is okay over here. Improved manufacturing, yeah, that's nice. All in all, everything seems to be fine. Yeah, so what I would like to do over here though is increase gas drilling. And the reason for that is expand natural gas production. Plus max production, high supply, low emission, low toxicity can create water stress. Yes, but that's fine. I think this is a good choice. Just making sure that we are not burning oil, but that rather we'd be burning gas. So I hope that is okay. Gas drilling contaminates water table. That's not very good. Everything else though, yeah, but water stress. That's not good. Okay, so what we could do is we could do a regional ban on shale and tight gas. And that would be a good choice here, I think. Improved storm defenses. People do like us. Everything is somewhat okay. Can we do turbine tax over here? We cannot. This would be a good card to play as well. Business household carbon rex, just to reduce consumption. Even though I think energy consumption is the biggest energy user over here. Well, not quite. How do we look in terms of energy usage? It's going down at least, so that's good to see. I'm tempted to buy another card over here and play the industrial business and household carbon regulations. Let's see whether we can afford that in a second. Right, so we've played all of these areas. Let's take a look at Northern Africa. Agricultural supports that are undersupplied. Yeah, carbon cash, nice, nice, nice. All very good news over here. So yeah, actually we don't need to change that much over here, I think. Where are you in terms of GDP per capita? Not doing great. Could do an eco-awareness campaign. Might not be the worst. How are you looking in terms of population? Just 700 million. But just look at the elderly population here. Okay, let's switch out of the one-child policy. And we can't increase the retirement age. We could have smart... You don't have smart grids even? That's pathetic. But I'm worried about the money, so let's actually go for eco-awareness campaign. That's fairly cheap and always very useful, so yeah, I think that should be good. Let's switch to Southeast Asia. Sorry, South Asia. What's going on over here? We've got mostly good things. Eco campaign, all of this. Yeah, just some fuel toxicity. Fuel toxicity is probably due to energy usage, isn't it? Oil and coal. How's energy looking? It's climbing up there. It's not great. What I'd really like to do over here is get second generation biofuels, potentially go into third generation biofuels. Try to get a little bit of all of that, so let's try to expand biofuels over here and also acquire second generation biofuels. And we are hoping that that will increase our oil supply, our alternative oil supply. This is of course much more eco-friendly, but we'll have to think about other things as well. Soon you're gonna get over 12,000 GDP per capita. That will at least allow us to play a couple of further cards, so I'm hoping that that is okay. We're continuing our biotech research program in Oceania, so that seems to be fine. We've acquired geoengineering, border strained by refugees. We'll have to keep an eye on that too. Healthcare technology, yeah, all of these is very good. But yeah, we probably have to... Ooh, job sharing initiative, that's not good. If we see that card, that means we are seeing a lot of refugees over here. And that will make people not that likely to like us, basically. Well, on the other hand, everything seems to be fine for now, so we'll keep it like this. Japan, the only country that is currently unstable, and we are playing a famine relief program. Carbon cuts, yeah. Yeah, not everything is great. At least you have researched CCP, so that is nice. We don't need a water management program over here, I think. But we... well, potentially... So firstly, can't we play the business and household carbon regs? Yeah, people should like that, so I think that would be good to play. I mean, Japan really isn't the biggest emitter of the world. It's mostly here to do other things, in particular research robotics, get us to desalination. That would be pretty good. You have second generation biofuels. Yeah, nothing else is that important though. Antheric depressurization, I think there might be a little bug there, but it's not that important. Job sharing, yeah, I think that's due to the oil shortage, because all of our other sectors are decreasing here a little bit. Synthetic oils, there's not... See, the point is we can't do that much over here. Switch to organic farming. Okay, let's do famine relief, because the food situation here really isn't that great, so we'll have to take care of that. So we've dealt with all of these countries. Let's have a look at Europe. Europe is actually our headquarters, so that's an important region. But people do like us here, so that's nice to see. The campaign is in full swing, so we are materialist now. Healthcare spending is okay. Tech is booming, that's nice to see. Reservations established, that's also very good. Less sunshine. All in all, pretty good. Okay, pretty good over here. We could acquire photovoltaic cells, but we're gonna get that in 10 years anyway. Aerosols in 5 years anyway. High yield crops in 5 years. So all of that is pretty good. And we're gonna get first generation nanotechnology also in a very short time. So we really don't need to acquire any technology over here. We could play some of these more funny missions. Manned mission to Mars, city orbital array. Thing is, they don't really do that much for us, so I don't think that's required. We could play Tobin tax to get a little bit more money. People wouldn't like that, but all in all, I think we are relatively fine over here. What are we actually? Our emissions are mostly, well, they're coming from all over the place. Industry. We're using a little bit of oil for industry, but it's not that much, so I'm not sure. Still, we are doing the transport efficiency, so that might be okay to continue. What's our energy actually coming from in Europe? Electricity is coming from a little bit of everything, but a surprisingly high amount of renewables. That's actually pretty nice to see. So what we could do then is, let's actually have a look at the industry. So industry, just how much coal are you burning? Really not that much. That's very little, so there's very little point playing the card to do a coal-free industry. Except it just wouldn't show up anymore. So I'm thinking we could play the switch transport electricity card. That would reduce our oil consumption, and that would be fairly good, I think, in the current situation. Okay, fine, that's good. North America, any news that we do need to be aware of? Doesn't seem like that, so it's fine. Yeah. Am I happy with these cards? Yeah, I do think I am, so that's good. And that does leave us with Latin America. Agricultural resources undersupplied, yes. Eco campaign. You're now balanced, so that's nice to see. Water drilling is a problem, but I don't think there's any water shortage here, so I just want to keep it as such. Storms. Okay, can we do something against storms? Not really. We have established stuff. We could go for more water if required. What are you actually emitting? Yeah, quite a bit. And it's a little bit from all places, including transport. You're burning quite a bit of fuel as well. More than Europe, actually. And what else? Energy? We do have a very high renewables mix, although a very low oil mix. Is there any technology that we want over here? Certainly smart grids, but we're going to get that very soon anyway. Second generation biofuels. I think you might actually be one of the places where biofuels might make some sense. Let's have a look at that. So that would be under synthetics, renewables. Let's go for oil, and I think then we should... Nope, not the graph. Oil. Nope. Synthetic oil? Biocrop, yeah. So we've got 27 billion. Let's compare that to China, which is fairly large. 53. Over here we have 41. So yeah, maybe this is not the best place to play around with biofuels. You generally want a very high agricultural basis. Well, protecting the land and soil would be nice down here, wouldn't it? Sorry about the noise in the background. And I certainly think we could continue with the vegetarian revolution. Because a lot of emissions here are coming from agricultural sources, comparatively at least. Water stress isn't that great, but it will help with that, so that's nice to see. Transport use, energy use, yeah. Yeah, well, I think this is good. Right, that does actually leave us with some money, so where do we want to play further cards? Certainly these biggest emitters are always a very good place to play cards. In the Middle East, we have a lot of agents over here. Could also go for Oceania, just to be a little bit more reactive there. Latin America. I'm also always worried about Northern America, Northern Africa. Okay, let's recruit another agent over here. Everything was okay. You are lacking water infrastructure. We can't really build up any. We might want to acquire a couple of new technologies. Smart grids. Let's acquire smart grids. Always a good choice. Right, and then Middle East. Because Middle East needs to do more things. In particular, we want to get the business and household carbon regs. So yeah, that is something that we do want to do. Right, so that does leave us with about 30 bucks. There's not that much that we can do with 30 bucks. Well, we could try to deploy Arab sulfates. Well, just be too little. So that might not work out quite as well. So if we switch out of this and into this, we need to do something a little bit cheaper somewhere. Northern Africa, cap and trade. No, all of this is... Don't really have to acquire the smart grids over here. We are acquiring a lot of things over here. Not paying any carbon tax in China. You know what? I think it's fine. So yeah, let's end the turn over here and see what the headlines will be. Global gas production is rising. That's very good to hear. That's due to the card that we were playing in Russia. Global population is increasing and we've got a quantum computing breakthrough. All of these are very good news. North America, emissions have increased by 82%. Really, what have you done? Probably wildfires there. People generally somewhat like us, except for Oceania. Oceania is a little bit on the short side actually, with only 3 hearts now. So yeah, what was going on in North America? I'm guessing wildfires. Let's look at the annual emissions. Yeah, that's a wildfire, forestry. So, can we do anything about that? We are already playing most adaptations here, so could acquire the high yield crops. So that would be nice. And we might have to do more to protect the land and soil. But okay, so overall, I think most importantly, the oil has changed a little over here. So let's have a look at the total oil production. Okay, that's the total energy production. And oil is still coming down, even though we are playing cards in 2 areas to increase that. Coal is coming down somewhat. Gas is remaining stable. And uranium is decreasing, but I think that's mostly an efficiency gain, so and that has to be taken with a grain of salt there. Oil production. It's now mainly coming from North America and the Middle East. But man, oh man, is this decreasing. It might be a good sign. It might be a good sign that the supply is actually decreasing because demand is decreasing. So actually, you can see we can't actually play the oil card anymore. Because presumably, yeah, we don't have any oil in the mix anymore. Yeah, extremely good result over here. Just look at that. Just global oil consumption probably just dropped by taking this action. So yeah, that was extremely successful over here. But of course, we are still in trouble because of the global annual emissions. Just the overall total emissions, they are stable, and that's just stable is not good because it's still more and more and more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. China is coming down, Middle East is stable, Southern Africa is actually decreasing, that's nice to see. India is also stable, that's good. But other nations are catching up. It's just, it's so annoying. You can see we brought down North America to a fraction of what it was before. We brought down Europe, where is it? Europe. It's not relevant anymore, but just look at that. While we did that, Southern Africa just ballooned out of control. China was very hard to bring down. Latin America increasing. And now South Asia. And Northern Africa. But at at least we are getting closer, I feel. A lot of bad things happen. But yeah, that's something that we're gonna have to look at next time. So for now, I thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you next week. Do leave a like and all of that if you want. But yeah, all tips welcome and all of that. Do leave a comment as well. Bye bye.